if you're going to be a B and an I, or an I, you must have this. This is the thing that separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls, you know. This is the difference here. This is called a financial statement. This is what separates the cash flow game from the monopoly game board. This here is an income statement, and this is a balance sheet. Income, expense, assets, and liabilities. If you're going to be an entrepreneur or a professional investor, this is a must. Is that correct?
It is, and this is actually the scorecard for the cash flow game. So everything that we did in real life, this is exactly how we think, this is how we operate. It's about getting your passive income greater than your expenses. This is how we did it, and it's crucial. If you don't know this, you're not going to make it.
As Warren Buffett, the world's greatest investor, says, you know, accounting is the language of business. This is accounting. The problem with accounting in school, it's the single most boring subject I ever took. So the design was to make this part of the cash flow game. So you have two subjects you learn from cash flow. One is investing, which is terrifying for most people, and second is accounting, which is boring. When you put the two together with this, you have some fun. So if you're going to get out of the rat race, the way you get out of the rat race is you got to have passive income. More income coming in than your expenses. Then you're home free. Cash is flowing in more than cash is flowing out. It's very simple. The big difference also is my poor dad always said to me, go to school and get a high-paying job. Line number one here. That's not what my rich dad said. My rich dad said the asset column is the most important. So the money flows from here, from our investments, every month, and that's what the game was designed to teach to do, is have income flowing in so that you don't have to work anymore. You're free to go and, you know, do some good for this world, like solve this environmental problems or find the cure for cancer or whatever you want to do. But this gives you the freedom. It's assets coming in from this side and what school teaches you to do to get a high-paying job. They're completely different mindsets, right?
Well, I know when I studied accounting in school, number one, I was lost. But the biggest difference, I think, that you've come up with, what your rich dad taught you, is very simply the definition, the difference between an asset and a liability. So very simply, this changed everything for me in terms when it came to accounting. An asset, very simply, according to Robert's rich dad, is something that puts money in your pocket, whether you work or not.
So the cash flows from assets into your pocket.
Yeah, so my watch is not an asset. It does not put any money in my pocket.
Your Lamborghini is not an asset.
My Lamborghini is not an asset. So that's an asset.
A house is not an asset.
Yes, but most people think a house is an asset.
Yes.
A liability, according to Robert's rich dad, is something that takes money out of your pocket, whether you work or not.
Right, so what you'll see from a liability is that cash is flowing out this way. So cash is flowing out, and this is cash flow coming in. And your job playing this game is to get the cash flowing in greater than the cash flowing out. So you learn budgeting, you learn accounting, you have fun, you learn some of the most complex parts of B's and I's, you know, business owners and investors, and you have fun. Now, the people that say, I played it once, I know it all, well then, you know, bless you, but we play this game every single day of our lives.
Every day in real life, we play this game.
And our object is to get more assets than expenses. So today, it's in the millions of dollars flowing in every month.
Well, it's what the Rich Dad Company is about, is how to find, how to manage, how to acquire assets that put money in your pocket, whether you work or not. Very simply, it's very easy to find something that you buy an investment that doesn't cash flow, that doesn't put money in your pocket.
Most people are buying liabilities. You know, your 401k, your retirement plan is actually a liability. It's unfunded liability in technical terms. So it's really to think about assets versus liabilities. The reason people are in so much trouble financially, they say your house is an asset, but really every month that house is costing you money. Even if you have no debt on it, you still have insurance, maintenance, and upkeep of the house. So it's not about real estate, stocks, bonds, or businesses. It is about cash flow. A house can be an asset. The same house can be a liability. Let's say I buy a house to rent, and every month is putting money in my pocket. That's great. But if the house goes unrented or the tenant trashes it, that same house becomes a liability. So it's very simple like that. So if you buy stocks, it's called a dividend payment. You know, a bond is called a dividend payment. So the whole thing is controlling cash flow. The reason people are in so much financial trouble is they buy liabilities that the salesperson, you know, their real estate broker, the stock broker, their financial advisor, tells you is an asset. And most people are buying liabilities they think are assets, and that's why they're in trouble. So this is the only game, you know, that teaches you how to get assets putting money in your pocket, cash flowing in. The other part is the profession. It doesn't make a difference if you're the janitor or a doctor. You know, one of the things you choose is a profession. You'll find out if you have financial education, a janitor can beat a doctor at getting the cash flow going. The other thing is really important. This is your name. If this be Kim, and this would be me. But this is a very important person. It's called an auditor. It's a person that's checking on you. If game's a reflection of behavior, one of the things I notice is a lot of people don't think an auditor is important. Auditors are very important, aren't they?
Well, they're very important, and one of the key things an auditor is important for is because every day you want to be knowing where you are financially in the game, but in real life, you want to know where you are. It's so easy to lie to yourself. No, I don't have all those expenses. I don't spend so much money.
My net worth is this. Net worth doesn't mean anything to us.
It does not. It does not. But the most important thing is that you tell yourself the truth and that you look at where you are financially so that you can figure out where you want to go. If you don't know where you are, how are you going to get to where you want to go?
Yeah, net worth is worth less most of the time. And that's why I don't personally like it. So it's really about getting passive income greater than your expenses. And a lot of people, your behavior shows up on this game. And it's fun. You can play it different times. You play it as a doctor. You can play it as a lawyer. You can play it as a janitor. It doesn't make any difference. It's about this here. So the last thing I want to say, this is a little bit more complex than most people. The reason there is so much financial turmoil in the markets today is, number one, most people do not know this. They don't know where they are. They're counting liabilities as assets. Oh, my car is an asset. No, it isn't.
They're looking good.
Yeah.
They look good.
Yeah,
they're not going anywhere.
They have the Gucci Poochie purses and all this stuff. They're going broke. Okay. There's a lot of people who look rich, but when you look at their financial, they look poor. And that's why a banker never asks you for your report card. Banker never asks you what school you went to, what was your grade point average. A banker asks for your financial, because this is your financial IQ. They want to see how smart you are. If you're smart with the money, they'll give you a lot of money. If you're a moron, they'll give you a credit card. That's all they'll give you. So there is so much going on. So there's one reason for the financial turmoil in the markets is most people are not taught this in school. The second reason is this. Most of us have heard about the subprime mess. The subprime mess is really the thing. And like Bear Stearns, these banks going broke. The reason they're going broke is they actually have what's called off-balance sheet liabilities. In other words, they're not reporting to the average person out there what they're really doing. That's like me hiding $1 million mortgage and going to the banker and say, well, I'm not telling you about this $1 million mortgage. It's called an off-balance sheet liability. But guess who else is doing that? Our governments. The United States have so many off-balance sheet liabilities they're not reporting on. One of them is called Medicare, another is called Social Security. And they don't report it. So one of the reasons people struggle financially is they can't even read their own financial statement. They can't read the financial statement of the business they're looking into. And thirdly, our smartest people, supposedly our investment bankers like Bear Stearns, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, they're not telling you the truth, and neither is our government. So that's why this game, I believe, is so important for those who want to be entrepreneurs and investors. This is essential to B's and I's, right?
And we've taken a very complex subject called income statement and balance sheet and simplified it and given you the fundamentals, because as you're saying, if you want to be a business owner, if you want to be an investor, you've got to understand financially where you are.
And this we play every single day.
Every single day in real life.
And this is what makes the cash flow game so different above and beyond Monopoly and other things. It is the only game that teaches you one of the most boring subjects on earth, which is accounting, combined with one of the most frightening subjects on earth, which is investing.